Let me spill you a little secret, my friends. The universe isn't ignoring you. You are ignoring the universe. Welcome to today's live. I'm Carrie Waring, and today we are spilling the spiritual tea on why your manifesting might be stuck. And no, it's not because you're not high vibe enough. It's because you don't know how to receive. You are amazing at giving to everyone else, to supporting your loved ones, to nurturing others. But when it comes to you, I'm sorry, but you block the flow. So today we're breaking that wide open and showing you what it is that you need to be magnetic, to receive from the universe. You know, like as women, there are three really top reasons why we really struggle to receive. The first is because we've often grown up and been raised to give but not receive. There's shame around that. You know, from the moment we can walk, we're praised for being helpful, nurturing, selfless, and we're trained to tend to others, smooth things over and say yes, but we're actually not really trained to be authentic, to express how we really feel, to pat ourselves on the back and receive. You know, we're not taught to ask for what we need. We're not taught to say, hey, I actually need support today. Or, yes, please, I'll receive that. Or, thank you for that compliment. We're not really taught. And we're not taught to do things like, you know, I really need to rest today. And instead, we're just taught to give to our employers, to give to our families, to give to our friends, to give to the strangers down the road. So that's reason number one. Reason number two, control feels safer than trust. You know, here's the really tough truth. Receiving requires you to surrender. It requires you to let go. And I know we all struggle with that. You have to trust, well, learn to trust, that others will show up for you. You have to learn to trust that the universe will show up for you. That you are worthy of good things and worthy of having your needs met by the universe and others. Just as much as you would be there helping to support others, tending to their needs, you are worthy of that too. And I know for me that this area, letting go of control and really trusting that the universe can show up for me and that I am worthy of having my needs met, has been a lifelong journey in regards to my manifesting. I know as a child, I learnt that I had to depend on me because I was often let down. And in that, I didn't build trust in the universe. So I learnt to depend on me. And I took that into relationships. I took that into my adult life. And I certainly took that into my manifesting. And it's been, I wouldn't say a quick fix. It's been a continual peeling of the layers to really learn that it's okay, that the universe really does have my back. And, you know, that this is where you can learn to really let go and really build that trust and faith in the universe. And once you do learn and build that trust and faith, you will see that you start to receive. You're no longer blocking, and instead the universe is giving to you as much as you were giving to others. So that would be the second reason why we find it difficult. The third reason is there's often guilt in being supported. We often might feel a little bit weak in the fact that we need to ask for help, that we need to be supported. Somewhere along the way, we've absorbed the lie that receiving is being selfish. We feel guilty around that. How many of us feel guilt around putting ourselves first or putting our needs and making them as important as the needs of others? How many of you feel guilt around that? You know, that accepting help is a weakness. And I know in my work as a medium, there are so many women that I come across that all forget to ask for help. We forget to even ask spirit, you know. So it's not weakness to receive. It's actually healing. It's actually a form of self-love. And so in those are the three reasons why, top three reasons, they're not all of the reasons, but they are the top three reasons as to why we actually really struggle with showing up for ourselves and really struggle with learning to receive. And you know, this shows up in your aura too. I can actually see in your wealth code web, which is actually part of your aura, that this actually shows up as fuchsia pink. You know, it's the signature of what I'm calling the devoted archetype in your wealth code. Now, the devoted is deeply heart-led and nurturing and committed to others. You know, often at the cost of her own detriment. So when out of balance, this archetype really does struggle to receive, often leading to burnout, resentment, and blocked abundance. And I know I've been there. I've been there in my business. I've been there in my home life. But when the devoted heals and comes to balance with this overgiving, she learns to give to herself and opens up to receive. And in doing that, going through that journey, she becomes radiantly magnetic and a real channel for love and support and creating wealth. And in all areas, yes, finances, because we're definitely open to that too, but in all areas. And you know, I think the really important thing to note here is that it is about balance. And I know for me, I've just even been this weekend having a real lesson around allowing myself to receive while I'm actually supporting and giving to others. You know, it's often when, for me, traditionally, when life comes up, you know, when you're supporting family members and you've got life getting in the way, so to speak, and you're supporting family members with health issues or, you know, friends with relationship issues or whatever it might be, sometimes when I'm stepping into that role traditionally, my business has always sort of gone quiet because I haven't been able to manage to do that as well as support my clients. But this weekend, there's been a real shift there for me as I've turned around and said, no, what is important to me, my work, my needs with my business, it is just as important for me to continue to receive and experience what is important to me while I am off helping others. And that is what's happening. And yes, I am in overflow with it all. However, it's still flowing. It's still moving along. So what happens when we actually do come to balance and we heal? What we find is first you sort of start to recognize where you are out of balance. You will feel like you are burnt out, you're exhausted. You know, how I haven't got the energy. You know, how can I do this? What about my needs? Why are my needs not feeling like it's showing up? You know, you can see everyone else abundant, you can see everyone else in flow, but you feel blocked, you feel like the universe is just not there for you, essentially. And even though you give, you still feel like the well is dry, it doesn't happen. So if you are in business, you'll feel like you give in your business, but it's not coming back to you. So the way to create boundaries around this is to use boundaries, to begin really learning to place those boundaries, learning to apply self-loving boundaries, and yes, that's saying no and pulling back your giving for a time. It's creating that balance, it's being authentic with how you really feel, and being really conscious about saying to yourself, you know, how can I serve myself in this situation? That is the first stage, and I know for me it was many years ago when I really first started to really pull that up and recognize that and make it more of a conscious choice and be aware of where I was giving and what I was needing to do. And as I said, even this recently, I've been sitting here being fully aware of the need to give and to show up for someone, but at the same time being really conscious of what it is that I need to be able to show up as the best I can. You know, like, yes, I still need some fun and some joy, and I still need my business to flow because that makes me a happier person, so that I've got the strength to then show up for others in the way that they need me to. So it's about balancing, creating the balance, and it really starts with giving to yourself. So make those choices, and if you need help or want to go deeper with being able to apply boundaries, I do have a Sacred Boundaries bundle available in my Etsy shop, a journal. You know, you'll be able to do a boundaries audit on your life, and it's a quick download. So I'll pop that in the notes below for you. What then happens is, as you start to build trust in the universe, you start to see the evidence is there that it's shifting for you, that the universe is showing up for you, that as you've applied those boundaries and you've created balance and you're learning to give to yourself, you build that trust. And then at some point what will happen is the universe will say to you, okay, it's time to give unconditionally. Because you know, if you give in this moment that you are taken care of, that the universe will give to you. It may not give to you in that moment, but it will give to you in some way. But I would only say, really work at building that trust first, learning to give to yourself in that way, and then as you've learnt to give to yourself, you'll see the universe slowly start to come in and support you and give to you. Go through that journey first before you open yourself up and continually give unconditionally in complete faith. That's a journey for you. So if you are recognizing that you're an overgiver, and you know it's all Overgivers Anonymous over here, then then go through that journey of learning to give to yourself. Start there, please. Start there. And I guess the third stage is really coming into receiving is your manifesting superpower. It really becomes that point where you have learned to, you've learned to give to yourself, so you're learning to receive. You've learned to trust in the universe. You are opening up, and then you are becoming magnetic and receiving. So here's the kicker, right? The universe can't deliver blessings to you you're calling in if you won't let them land. So receiving, it's not selfish. It's opening yourself up, allowing you to love yourself more, allowing you to open yourself up to help, to money, because it's not all about money, is it? It's about opening yourself up to support from friends. It's about opening yourself up to having your day just flow a lot easier. I know even for me, sometimes the universe shows up just in ways of not so much money in my bank account, but more like when I'm having to spend money, I'm getting that best price. I'm getting, one quote might be, a few $1,000s more than this quote I've got here. You're getting the best price, you're getting the discounts at the sales, you're getting, your life just flows, and it flows with opportunity, it flows with support. This is that receiving is your manifesting power, so allow yourself to be in that space. So I just really wanted to share this with you. And of course, if you've watched this live or you've watched the replay, then know that I'm here to answer your questions. So if you have any questions about what I've said, then please do not hesitate to comment below with your thoughts, your feedback, where you see yourself sitting on this journey, And if you want to go deeper, if you feel called to go deeper because you want to rewrite your story, you want to rewrite how you receive from the universe, because after watching this video that it is one of your blocks. May not be the only block, but it can definitely be a big one. So then I invite you into my Sacred and Sassy Manifesting Coaching Program. It's a one-on-one program, 6 weeks at this stage, and we'll delve into your wealth codes, we'll align your energy and help you receive the abundance, the love and the freedom that you are looking for. So, you can drop me a DM, you can comment sassy if you want me to reach out with the information for you. But let's just go over all of that again a little bit. In summary, the fact that manifesting is not always about high vibe and getting into alignment. We do have to open ourselves up to receive in that way. And if you have been traditionally an overgiver and really struggle to receive because, you don't like people buying presents for you, or you struggle to receive compliments, and you're not very good at self-care, you're not very good at being able to treat yourself, and you're not very good at asking for help. If that sounds like you, then I can pretty well guarantee that you are struggling to have your needs met, and the universe, and it feels like the universe doesn't have your back. Well, the truth of that is that the universe is there for you. The universe will show up. We just need to train it in a little way, and we do that by helping you learn to give to yourself and getting comfortable with that. So step outside of your comfort zone and ask yourself, how can you give to yourself today?